gas. Oh my God, Frigidaire. It matched my ice. Oh y'all get ready. Y'all get ready. Y'all get ready. Ooh, you don't have to worry. Gas.
Yo, the Crip by Crip fours. There's nowhere in the world he can't tell me that he didn't know those was a Fugazi. Hey, maybe just like a bunch of other people, he doesn't care. Docket number 212, A1 felony goes to Freaky Zeke for that. Like, huh? It's not even no explanation. We don't need no explaining. Yo, so many comments was hilarious. Some people saying, yo, those are coming out. He might have just got them early. Yo, listen, I didn't see Nigel do a trick on his bike or jump out the G-Wagon. I ain't see none of the big queens, Bucksy, Cello, none of them with him on, Greg Una. And then he added where he got them from. And it's one of them numbers that start with a plus sign. But yo, shout out to everybody that's been grabbing this hoodie, both colors. Shout out to the people that jumped on last night, watched the vlog ASAP, and was able to secure those 3 blue beeper joints that I had put up. I only put up 3 because I knew what was going to happen. I knew a bunch of people that never ordered anything from the website was going to be the first to try to take advantage of it. And I'm happy to say that only 1 out of the 3 was somebody that never ordered anything. But yo, shout out to the dark side, aka the smart side. I got something special for y'all at the end of the week. Patreon subscribers only. Free 99. If you haven't, noideasoriginal.com. Yo, don't let the algorithm dictate to you what's going on. I gotta practice what I preach because that clip of Freaky Zeke with those kicks, that's something that he posted last week. It was sent to me today. So I didn't even get to see it at all. I don't follow him, and somebody sent it to me and I finally got to see it. But you know, when you want to see certain things, you can't always rely on the algorithm, man. So noideasoriginal.com. Subscribe to the website. Make sure y'all go on Apple Podcasts, listen to the podcast that I've been dropping. About to drop a new episode for tomorrow as well. But yo, since we winding down, we into the what? How many more days we got to Christmas? 17? So what's that? 2 weeks and 3 days? I gotta get some of this rolling so it just won't all overlap. I was telling y'all that, well, if you was tuned into my Instagram, it was 3 sneakers this year that meant something to me. 2 pair, well, 1 pair was seated. Well, I mean seated, gifted, same thing. They was all gifted. 2 from people within brands, and then the other one just from, you know what I mean, a comrade, somebody that just understand. So I'm gonna get into the sneakers and a little bit of the stories behind the sneakers. If y'all was tuned into my Instagram, y'all seen I got the Black Cat 4. Shout out to Brandon Dunn. We gonna start with those first. Yo, so many of y'all already tuned in with noideasoriginal.com. But for those that's not in tune to the page or just may not know why the page started, or I feel as though it eventually may have happened, but it really happened as fast as it did because of my father. Rest in peace to my pops. So I sees my father one day. I got on a Lightning Force. And he like, yo, you still in the sneakers the same way? He like, yo, them shits is dope. So I'm like, yeah, ain't nothing changed. Still the same thing. So he was like, wow, man, ever since a little kid. And I'm like, yo, it's your fault. So we laughing and I'm like, yo, you still speak to Clayton? And he was like, yeah, I see him at church. So Clayton was the manager of a store, A&E Sports Center in Passaic. I got a lot of sneakers from. And I told him my idea, and I told him why I had the idea, which was what I tell y'all, because it was a lot of fraudulent, new, watered down, rewritten history being spoke about the things that really happened. And he was like, yo, I'm gonna get you in touch with Clayton. So I'm like, I bet. Maybe an hour later, he texts me a phone number, but it's a Florida number. He like, yo, Clayton said, Arnie is waiting for you. So I'm like, who's that? He was like, that's the A for A&E Sports. That's the owner. Retired, caked up, live in Boca Raton. I end up giving him a call. We talked for almost 2 hours. I got the full conversation recorded, never released it. Y'all may have heard a clip that I put out when I was talking about getting the Ewings from the store. But yeah, I still have that in the tuck. I don't know when I'm gonna release it. But anyway, my father ends up texting me and going, yo, how about the black shits like them yellow joints you got, which was the Black Cat 4s. He was saying he want them in all black. So I automatically laughed because this is, you know what I mean? The pandemic is pretty much ending. Prices on these shits was sky high. So I show him the price and here's the text message. I just kept it. So it was just hilarious. You know, I put it on Instagram. And then Brendan hits me up earlier in the month and was like, yo, I sent you an email. So I checked the email. And this is the email, which led to these. So for me, I felt as though it was that shit left me speechless, honestly, because I know people pay attention, but for somebody to pay attention and then leave with that kind gesture, yeah, it had me kind of had me messed up the whole day. Like, wow, like, you know what I mean? So this is definitely the number one most thoughtful shoe of 2025 for me. Shout out to Brendan Dunn. Shout out to StockX for getting me these. I definitely, the first time I wear them, I'm going to wear them to the cemetery to go holler at my father so he could see them. It's crazy they restocked the Black Cat 4s that fast. And I seen a lot, yo, shout out to the resellers that was able to do they want to and come up those first 2 days of them joints being out. Now, it's crazy because that was so thoughtful. It made me look at the Black Cat 4s different just because of how it happened and why it happened. So I have a different type of respect for them. I probably wouldn't have copped them if that didn't like register like that. It didn't even register in my mind like, yo, you should just get them because of your pops, like I did these. I don't wear mids, but I remember I got, damn, pardon me, y'all. I remember I got white and yellow high low top is, and he told me to pick out some kicks, and he was like, yo, how you feel about these? And I'm like, that's cool. You know, this is when they first came out, 95-ish. And I'm like, nah, these is cool for you. Mids was on fire. All those memes and Twitter sneaker things that's going on about mids is crazy. So I remember when he had these and these came back out like maybe a month or two after he passed away. And I was like, nah, I'm about to just get them in memory of him. Never ever touched the earth. The packaging from the inside of the box is still there. I just keep them sitting out as a memory of him. So, you know, I never looked at, now I look at the Black Cats basically how I look at those, but I'm definitely wear them Black Cat 4s. Now, I'm not gonna lie. All three of these sneakers that we talking about was definitely just a surprise. And this was the next one. BBL Neon 95. So I remember when they announced the date. I'm talking to certain people, that's certain people, to where they could tell me what location was getting the sneaker. But in the mix of doing that, they couldn't pretty much say, yo, I could hold you a pair down. That's another thing. Like, we're going to get into that on the thing that pissed me off segment at the end of the week, because I never ever say, yo, can you get me this? Can I get this? And some people be like, yo, you bugging, like, ask for it. And then you have certain people within the brands that be like, yo, if you need anything, let me know. I don't come from that, so I don't just ask. I'll be like, yo, see if you could just make sure I could get them without the hassle. I'll pay for them. So that was what was going on with these. Shout out to Bourne. Bourne was at Packer and Patino. Shout out to DP. We gotta get DP up here. DP is somebody that I grew up with. I went to high school with. Sneaker missions together. Still, when we bump into each other these days, we talk about kicks. He's still in the kicks. First person I went to Tito's, aka Manny's the jeweler. He bought a Cuban link. This is when the Bo Jacksons dropped in '98. Walk out of Manny's, go back to the car. He got his new Cuban on. The car is gone. They towed the car. That's a whole nother story. But anyway, they was online at Packers. I want to say it was like 70 or 80 of them online. First 12 people went in. It was quiet, over. So I'm panicking. This is the release day. I'm like, I said, I know the number's going to be crazy. I'm going to just have to do it. I still got the 2020 pair, but nah, 2020 pair. They was already on their way to not even being, they was on their way to being a bike riding sneaker. They wasn't cooked, but they was cooked enough for me. So I'm posting all these memes, laughing on Instagram, and everybody, like, it was a big thing that day. Boom. I'm running around. I get to the crib and I see a box at the front door. So I'm like, hold on. So I look, and it was from Nike, NYC. Come in, I open it, and it was these, yo. I could have fainted. Shout out to Jaya. I hit Jay up and was like, yo, this shit work? She like, yes, sir. She was like, yo, I ain't want to tell you. I just wanted to keep it as a surprise. Yo. And then it had the little note in the box where it was like, yo, you know what I mean? You deserve these, basically in that many words or whatever. But this was definitely a shoot at. Like, this is going down in history for many reasons for me. See how good this looked with the beeper hoodie? Yo, they back in March, so while the beeper hoodie is up, you might as well just get it out the way, hold it down until you get your pair in March. March, there's gonna be enough for everybody. Yo, so I'm gonna tell you why this is something else that's going. All of this is monumental. Everything that we talking about today, but I'm gonna tell you why, right? So when I started this, I never expected it to get to where it's at and where it's going is a different story now, because it's like, oh, all right, it's lock in time. I know all eyes is on it. People appreciate it. And all that talk about sneakers is dying. How? How could it? When we've been doing this way before. Yo, go back to all the movies, right? We go back to Do the Right Thing, 89, stepped on the sneakers throughout the movies. We've seen how much sneakers meant. Look at Juice. Look how Q had to go through all them sneakers to finally decide what he was going to wear. There was no social media. So to say sneakers is dying, whatever. Anyway, I never thought of it getting to where it's getting, right? So to be invited to certain places and then come home to something like this that means so much to me, and not only me, so many other people, I feel like it's a win for all of us because I didn't come up in this the way other people came up in this. This is not Google. This is not uh, a scholastic way. I didn't work at no sneaker stores or sneaker brands before to get the connects. Nah, this is all off the muscle, all off of people being intrigued by what I speak about and how I speak about it. Once again, shout out to Jaya, shout out to Nike NYC. Yo, yo. And I can only imagine how somebody feels about getting the collab. Like when we talk about the kids an immigrant, like how they felt because I had conversations with Daniel, super down to earth, cool as hell. For regular people that's not like cemented in the brand, and then you just wake up. First of all, you've been in love with something since you was a kid, and then you wake up one day and be like, wow, God damn, I got a collab. Like that's monumental. So for me to just first of all, I still don't even think about it the way other people think and speak about it when they see me and be like, yo, like you have arrived. And it's like, yo, this shit is like normal to me. So some people feel like when I say certain things, I be like popping or I be trying to be funny or sarcastic, and I really don't. At the end of the day, it's like, yo, if you don't send it to me, I'm gonna buy it regardless. And that's been conversations in the past too, where some people would be like, yo, I, I'm glad you didn't buy it before I sent it. That's definitely been conversations about some of the kicks and shit, but boom, we're gonna get to the third shoe. Last but not least, yo, shout out to K. Y'all know K as the realest McCoy on Instagram. Y'all know K for talking all the shit on the mic at the meetups. Y'all know K from having mad shit on his Instagram page from different years, the same sneaker. I'm gonna tell you how this came about. Boom. First of all, I met K at the meetup, Air Force One day. I want to believe that's when I met him for the first time. He was just so funny out there. We was locked in. Hilarious. So we would talk about kicks and shit all the time. So boom. Fast forward. Get the bat signal from TTK and Dre with the glasses or Dre with the frames. Pardon if I said your Instagram handle wrong. That these was in the Bronx already. On shelves. I bullshit you not, a month early. So, you know, I'm a team player. Made the calls, told Born, of course, because this is our childhood, 8th grade. Told Born like, yo, I'm about to go to the BX. He was like, yo, if they got your size, I'm gonna get them. Bet. So I said, yo, if they don't, tell me what sizes they got left. So he tells me it just so happens they didn't have my size, but they had K size. I'm like, yo, I'm sending you the money now. Sent him the money. He got them. So I hit K up like, yo, boy, I'm about to bring the sneakers to my house for you right now. He like, I bet, good looking. He's happy. He was like, yo, you couldn't get them? Nah, they ain't have my size. Mind you, these shits ain't dropped yet neither. About an hour go by, I get a FaceTime and he like, yo, look, since you got me those, I got you these. So I'm like, oh, all right, fire. And me and him had conversations about how we both feel about the grapes. In 90, I couldn't get them. I wanted them bad. I mean, so bad to where I told my father, we was on vacation. And I said, nah, we don't got to go outside nowhere. Just buy me the sneakers. I'll stay in the house the whole vacation. Smacked me in the back of my head at the store and was like, nah, we're not doing that. But that's how these came about. Shout out to Kay. Always appreciated for that. And like I said, everything got a story. So the average person that, well, I'm not going to say the average, but my friends, we always did that. When we seen sneakers in store, even if we couldn't get them, we made sure if they had born size, ant size, whoever that wanted them size, they got them, even if they didn't have my size. You don't get too many people that return the same gestures and just be like, oh wow, you got me those, so I'm gonna get you the five. And like I said, neither pair was out. It was over a month early for the turfs and the fives. So it was like, say no more. I see how we rocking. I was in Woodbury. We both like purple. I got this hat. I got him the same hat. And he was like, oh, why? Like, it was just a mutual thing. And then from there, anytime a shoe dropped early and he had access or I had access, we exchanged the info. Okay, you got a little crazy at the Honey Black event. You skidsed out, but you don't like when I say that. But it's all in a joking manner. But yo, views from outside. Leave in the comments. Let me know how many of y'all seen Deconstruct. How did y'all feel about Deconstruct when we just talked about the Mob Deep video? What y'all want that? A lot of people were saying a different world. Yo, a different world is too many episodes. It's too much heat. That's something I would have to do by series. So in due time that'll happen. I definitely want to get into Fresh. Y'all should rewatch Fresh and just pay attention to the things in the background so y'all could see it was a lot of kicks in Fresh. I'm not too sure what I'm gonna do next, but definitely stay tuned. Then I seen some comments with people like, "Yo, you need to talk to barbers," and that's not a bad idea. The barbershop was a mood board within itself. Every barber I know had big cars, had jewelry, had all the kicks, all of that. They was like a dope boy, but not selling dope. Seriously, yo, once upon a time, and I'm talking to the people that was outside pre-social media. How did you get your barber? You got your barber from word of mouth, whether you knew he was cutting celebrities' hair or somebody that was fly amongst your peers was getting their hair cut, and he was just, it was just precision, everything precise, the whole line precise, the tape or whatever precise. You started going there, or you knew that barbershop was the barbershop where all the dope boys got their hair cut, everybody had good cuts, and you would tip the barber extra, sometimes $50 to $100 a cut, all through word of mouth. But just think about when you went in the barbershop, how much fly shit you seen, how many fly conversations took place, and how your barber would be in there fly cutting hair. Yo, growing up young, across the street from my building, it was a barbershop. It's still there, Charles His and Hers. Across the street, it was another barbershop, which was Jane Taylor, the singer. He owned a beauty salon, so it was a couple barbers in there that was nice. But I remember between those two places, my peers would go in there and sweep hair, all depending on who the barbers liked the most. Everybody wasn't getting that job, but some of them was, and they'd be like, yo, sweep hair, we gonna all collectively give you $100 a week. Yo, in seventh grade, 91, 92-ish, 92, because the sevens was out. That wasn't bad. So I watched one of my peers sweep hair, get the Bordeaux sevens, Hilfiger button up, Jabos, and he had a free shape up every single week because he worked in the barbershop, even though he was only sweeping hair. And it wasn't really a bad job because the conversation that was in there was fly, and now you're privy to other things. So when they go into the outlets or they go into Secor because they go into the mall, he could get in the car with them and go because he's like a little brother to them. So I think, yeah, I know a couple barbers that I could have some good conversations with about all of that stuff. But leave in the comments more things y'all want to see. Like I said, January, y'all gonna start seeing guests. It's gonna be a whole different thing going on. Of course, still list, but we adding on. Like, share, subscribe, tell a friend, and do not get them Crip on Crip 4s.